Today, we're diving into something that every business owner faces when they set a goal, and that is obstacles. Now, imagine this, you've set a goal, and maybe it is to increase your revenue by 25% next year. You've also decided that you're going to do that by introducing a new subscription service into your business. Now, it's very exciting, right? You're motivated, but then almost immediately your brain starts serving up resistance. It offers you things like, what if no one wants it? What if this isn't going to work? Or is this even really worth the effort? Does this sound familiar? This is the point where a lot of us get stuck. Our brain freaks out and offers lots of resistance because pursuing a goal requires change, right? It requires growth, and growth to our brain feels like danger. And then, because we don't know what to do with this resistance, we talk ourselves out of some pretty good ideas and keep ourselves from achieving our goals. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to work with your brain instead of fighting against it so that you can achieve more of what you want with less mind drama. Let's go. As a coach, I am trained in helping people reframe the obstacles, the resistance their brain is offering them. And I help them to take the action they need to take in order to get where they want to be. My job is to help you see what is stopping you, to free yourself from the thoughts that don't actually serve you, that are keeping you from running the kind of business you want and ultimately living the kind of life you want. Now, we are thinking beings, and what we don't always realize is that the thoughts our brain offers us isn't always true. Now, it feels very true. It feels like facts, but it usually isn't. Coaching helps you distinguish between thoughts and actual facts. And then it helps you to shift your perspective so that you can think in a way that serves the goals you have, regardless of what the actual facts may be. Now, one thing I know for sure is that when you have a goal and your brain offers you lots and lots of obstacles, your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's actually just doing its job, which is keeping you safe. It's wired for survival, not for taking risks. We are biologically programmed for safety, not growth. Now, we need to actually train ourselves to see the obstacles in a different light, to not see them as a problem, but as an opportunity. If we want to achieve our goals and stop stopping ourselves out of fear or doubt, the first important shift we need to make is to stop thinking that the resistance is a sign that we shouldn't go after the goal. If we think the obstacles or the resistance we're coming up against is a sign that we shouldn't do the thing, we will never strive for more, right? It's as simple as that because our thoughts drive our actions. Now, thinking the resistance or obstacle is a problem we can't overcome, this is literally how we think and talk ourselves out of the really good ideas that we have. So here's the thing. Your brain will always offer resistance. And if you wait for a time where there isn't any resistance before you start taking action, you will find yourself waiting for a very long time. Now, how many good ideas or goals have you abandoned because you simply couldn't get yourself past the hurdles? You may not even have noticed that you were the one stopping yourself because our brains are so good at making us think the problem is outside of us. Now, this is such a subtle shift to make, and it has the power to profoundly change how you show up in your business and your life and how you view challenges and obstacles going forward. When your brain offers you resistance to an idea or a goal, it isn't cautioning you to stop. What's really happening here is that your brain is asking, hey, I see a problem here. How are we going to solve this? What are we going to do here, right? It's not telling you to give up. It's doing the work it has been programmed to do. It's doing its due diligence and simply asking you for a plan. It wants the reassurance that we are safe. We know where we're going. We have a plan. And it doesn't even need to know the entire plan. It just needs to know that we know the general direction that we're heading into and we know with relative certainty what our next step is. We don't need to see the entire staircase. Our brain just wants to know that we are in fact stepping onto solid ground with our next step and not off a cliff. So the first thing I always ask my clients to do is to just write down all the thoughts that they have about their specific goal, all the problems they can think about. To just take a piece of paper and go to town with whatever they can think might be a problem. Now, this process in itself is such an eye-opening experience because it shows you what is actually going on subconsciously, the thoughts and the emotions that are getting in your way. In the coaching world, we call this the unintentional thoughts or an unintentional model. Once you have gotten all of your thoughts onto a piece of paper, we can now take each one and reframe it into an intentional model that actually serves you. We can shift from this is a problem to here's how we're going to solve that. So let's use starting that membership or subscription service as an example so that you can see how this would apply to a real scenario. You've decided to launch that subscription service and immediately your brain offers up something like, what if no one buys it? What if it is too expensive? What software platforms are we going to use? How are we going to market it? You will notice as you write down your thoughts, how your brain just floods you with hundreds of different problems or obstacles or negative thoughts. Now, one of the most common obstacles I coach on is the fear of failure, right? Fear of failure can present itself really in so many different ways, but at the root of it is a fear that we're going to put in all of this effort and it's not going to give us the outcome we want. We're just going to do this for nothing, or even worse, lose something because we did this thing. So the brain offers you the thought, what if this doesn't work? Now, instead of spinning in that fear, the unintentional model, we can reframe it by considering what our brain actually is trying to solve for. So it's offering you, what if this doesn't work? We can reframe that question to, what's the first step I can take to validate this idea? That simple reframe shifts you from fear to possibility. It shifts you from feeling hopeless or unsure to focusing on finding a solution. And if you don't allow your brain to answer, I don't know, then you will come up with a list of actionable things you can do, like researching your market or talking to your current clients about whether they would be interested in a service like that. The point is, we want to redirect ourselves from, oh, this is a problem, to here's a small step we can take to reduce the risk. Here's something we can do that will move us forward. Another common thought my clients often get coaching on is, I don't know if I can actually pull this off, right? Because they set some pretty big goals for themselves. And instead of letting doubt stop us, we can reframe the unintentional thought to, what skills or resources do we need to make this happen? Or what would I need to pull it off? So the reframe really is all about asking yourself better questions, because as it turns out, if you ask yourself better questions, you will give yourself better answers. So let's run through a few more examples of how you can reframe and ask yourself better questions. I will start with the resistance your brain is offering you, and then the reframe question that will shift you into the intentional model. So your brain might offer you, what if no one buys this? You can reframe that to, who will find the most value from this? Or who wants to solve this problem and are willing and capable to pay to have it solved? Your brain can offer you, I don't know enough about this. The reframe can be, what's one thing I need to learn, or who can I ask for guidance to get started? Your brain may offer you, what if I lose it all? The reframe can be, what is the worst case scenario and how can I prepare for it? Your brain might offer you, this is too overwhelming. I don't know where to begin. The reframe can be, what's the very first, smallest step I can take right now? Your brain might offer you, I don't have the time for this. The reframe can be, how can I prioritize this goal by removing or delegating something else on my plate? Your brain might say, this is too expensive. The reframe can be, what is the value that this will bring to my business or my life? Reframing is a skill, and you will get better with practice. The more you practice the reframe, the easier it becomes to manage the objections your mind throws at you and allow them to fuel the action you take rather than stopping you in your tracks. If you would like me to come alongside you and be in your pocket, helping you to ask yourself better questions, book a consultation call with me on the link in the show notes, and let's get you moving in the right direction with less mind drama. I'll see you in next week's episode.